Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Thursday evening Parent Academy webinar session. Thank you for joining. And again, we are excited to have you as audience listeners and participants. I am Tina Folston Hayes, the Parent Academy Specialist for Educational Equity and Outreach for the Alachua County Public Schools, and I welcome you this evening. Tonight, we will receive some helpful information from our guest speaker, who is with New Worlds Reading Initiative, Miss Nasika. I don't know if she's having a few other of her colleagues join us, but thank you so much. And just before we get started, let's review a few housekeeping elements. Please keep your microphones on mute through the duration of the presentation. We will be monitoring your questions if you just use the bottom of the webinar window, there's a Q&A section there. And we'll get to those questions at the end. Unless Ms. Nasika would like to ask you questions and have you participate throughout, she will definitely let you know how she would like to run it. Please remember that all Parent Academy webinars are closed captioned and recorded and posted to our website for access at a later date or re-review for anyone that could not join in live tonight or that would like to re-watch it to gain some clarification. If you have any questions that need my specific help, please send me an email to the Parent Academy at gm.sbac.edu. And I'll get to those questions and get them answered or get you forwarded over to the proper person to take care of that for you. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Ms. Nastika. Hello.
Hello, Ms. Tina. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Nasika Dennis, and I serve as one of the Family and Community Engagement Coordinators for the New World Reading Initiative. It's always exciting to be with you all and to share about New World and just tips and strategies that you can implement and share with your young readers. So we'll get started. So I'm going to share about the New Worlds Reading Initiative, who we are. Again, we never know who's on the call, so just so you all know who we are and what we provide. We're going to talk about supporting striving readers, and then at the end, we'll have Q&A as well. So to begin our session today, I have a quick question for you all, and you can put in the chat. When you think of reading, I am guessing that a book is the first thing that comes to mind, right? But have you ever thought about other materials around you that are also readable? For this quick activity, I'd like you to think about other things that can be read. Once you have identified something, you can share your thoughts in the chat. So feel free to populate your answers in the chat, and then we'll get started. As those responses come in, I'll share more about the New World Reading Initiative. So to begin our time today, I'm going to share some news about an amazing program that you may have heard about. It's called the New World Reading Initiative. Let's find out more. So New Worlds Reading is brought to you by the University of Florida Lastinger Center for Learning. The Lastinger Center is committed to improving the quality of teaching, learning, and caregiving. The Lastinger Center researches, develops, and scales educational products that are innovative and equity-centered. And we serve both adults and children, and we are committed to creating products that put all learners on a pathway for lifelong success. So New Worlds Reading is a free at-home reading program for eligible students in the state of Florida. Eligible children attending Florida public and charter schools in VPK through 5th grade receive 9 free books and reading activities each year. The reading activities are designed to strengthen skills and build confidence in reading. With caregiver assistance, children can choose books that match their interests. Books and resources are available in English, Spanish, Haitian Creole, and Braille. So we're going to dive just a little bit into who is eligible to apply for the New Worlds Reading Initiative. Children in VPK who are not yet meeting age-appropriate standards according to FAST State Early Literacy, children attending K through 5 public or charter schools who are not yet reading on a grade level. For our K through 5 students, this is based on several criteria, including FAST Star Early Literacy, FAST Star Reading Assessment, FAST ELA Reading, and if students are receiving Tier 2 or Tier 3 reading instruction. So here's the application process at a glance, so you can know exactly, so you can expect when to apply. You can find the online application at newworldsreading.com. Once you apply, there'll be a waiting period while the New Worlds Reading team confirms your child's eligibility using student records. After you receive your email confirming your child is eligible, you should receive your first shipment within 6 to 8 weeks. Once enrolled, children receive a free book all the way through 5th grade. Children will receive all 9 books no matter when shipment begins. So another resource that is available is the New Worlds Reading Scholarship Account. This is administered by Step Up for Students. Instead, qualifying families are offered access to education savings accounts worth up to $500 each. This can be used to pay for tuition and fees related to part-time tutoring, summer and after-school literacy programs, laptops, and so much more. Be sure to check out the website, stepupforstudents.com, if you'd like more information, or .org, my apologies. So in this session, we're going to talk about ways to help striving readers. But before we start discussing ways to help striving readers, it is important to have a shared understanding of what the term striving readers means. We use the term striving to focus on what a child is trying to do rather than what they cannot do. For the purpose of this session, we are going to focus solely on children who have challenges with reading, though we recognize that people of all ages have different reading abilities. A child who is a striving reader may find it difficult to recognize individual words as they have yet to develop an understanding of how individual sounds in words work together. This affects their ability to read words. A child who's a striving reader may expend a lot of energy trying to figure out what individual words mean, and this inevitably leads to difficulties comprehending what they have to read. And then lastly, a child who is a striving reader may experience challenges with recognizing words, understanding what they mean, and comprehending what they have read makes it difficult to achieve grade level reading expectations. Children who are striving readers would most certainly benefit from targeted reading support to meet their unique learning needs. There is no size fits all solution for striving readers. Essentially, a striving reader is someone for whom reading is a challenge. So children have different levels of awareness of their reading ability. Some younger children might not be able to recognize the difference between themselves and their peers. Older children have the capacity to compare themselves to fluent readers and notice the differences. This may lead to the development of coping strategies by children to mask any discomfort a child may experience when faced with the challenge of reading. This is understandable. Imagine if you were tasked with doing something that makes you feel uncomfortable. You might find yourself avoiding the task in a variety of creative ways. Children are no different. Let's explore some ways that could indicate that your child is a striving reader. A child who struggles with reading may consciously or subconsciously avoid reading altogether. They may present different behaviors with the intended aim of reading avoidance. A child who struggles with reading, they may speak negatively about themselves as a reader. For example, I'm not smart enough to read this. This book isn't meant for me because I'm not a good reader. A child who struggles with reading may select the same book and other reading materials repeatedly. This might be a book that they can read fluently, poses no challenge, and gives the impression of high reading ability. However, the fluency demonstrated with this text is not transferred when reading a different text. And a child who struggles with reading may is additionally aware of their reading difficulties, may pretend to read or substitute words by leaning heavily on pictures in the text to supplement words. So far, we've developed a shared understanding of how a striving reader is defined, and we've discussed some behaviors to look for. Now I'll share some ways that you can support your child. The first step is to create opportunities for your child to read more by establishing good reading habits. This helps to increase the amount of time your child spends reading, work on their reading skills, build their reading confidence, and support the development of their internal motivation and self-esteem. When building in time for reading to your busy family schedule, it is important to consider child's physical needs and the reading environment. For example, your child might need a stretch or movement break as they transition to reading time. You might consider allocating time for a short period of physical movement into a routine to signal the beginning of focused reading time. Next, you want to create an environment for reading by asking your child to choose where they feel comfortable. Choice is very important because your child may not have much freedom of choice in a school setting when it comes to required reading. Providing a choice might result in removing an emotional barrier associated with feeling challenged when reading is required. Anywhere your child chooses that is practical for both you and your child to huddle and read is a great choice. And then you want to reduce distractions by silencing your phone notifications and switching the television off. So let your child choose materials that interest them. Notice I said materials instead of books. This is because reading takes many forms, from takeout menus to subtitles on a television screen. Every kind of reading helps improve reading skills. If available, use a computer or smartphone to access reading resources online. Try different genres of books like comic books, graphic novels, and books that are based on movies. Your child may discover a love of reading by finding a genre that interests them. If you can, explore online libraries available from your school district or local library. There are thousands of books available for free. And before we continue, do we have any questions in the chat? All right, seeing none, continue. Improving conditions around reading and providing supportive feedback are two important steps that can increase your child's reading motivation. Children are more likely to engage in reading if they see that it is a fun habit instead of something they're not good at and are forced to do. Create a supportive partnership with your child and help build their confidence in their own abilities to succeed as confident, fluent readers. Encourage discussion about text by asking open-ended questions. These are questions that require a detailed response and cannot be answered yes or no. Speak to your child's teacher to understand areas where your child can grow as a reader. It's important to speak to all teachers who provide reading support to your child. Ask for help and practical suggestions for things you can do at home. If teachers use unfamiliar terminology, ask for clarification. Help your child read smoothly, quickly, and at a conversational pace by rereading their favorite books. This will help your child to understand and enjoy what they are reading. Consider family reading times where the entire family reads their own book at the same time. So we covered a lot today in a short amount of time. So let's do a quick recap and focus on the key points that we discussed today. You want to look for behaviors that may indicate your child is striving to read on grade level. Establish relationships with your child's reading teachers to know where your child needs extra support. Offer a wide variety of reading materials in different genres for your child to choose from. Investigate fun, engaging online resources, and find out more about what local libraries have to offer. Encourage rereading of favorite books to build fluency, accuracy, and comprehension. Consider establishing family reading times to emphasize the importance of reading as a family habit. At the beginning of the session, I asked you to name different things that can be read. I'll ask the same question again, but this time I want you to think how many more things you can read with your child other than books. Here's a hint, it's definitely more than just books. You want to populate some answers in the chat? All right, so magazines, awesome.
So I will say in the house, because I have a 3-year-old. So I would say cereal boxes
Mm-hmm, for sure. Comic books is another one. Okay.
and driving in the car, we read the signs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, reading the street signs, another
Mhm.
one, those recipes, going to the grocery store and reading. For us, when we were younger, it was reading our favorite fast food places. So McDonald's, Burger King. So reading those out loud for my mom to also take us there too.
Absolutely.
Okay, so these are great
And I
responses.
think when you open that door for your kids to do that, it's so amazing because we could be driving and she's like, "Mommy, I see a letter A. I see a letter A." Just because we've done it so much. And she's just like, "Oh, mommy, I see that letter. You tell me." I know she knows what it is, but she can't think of it at that moment.
Yeah.
And it might be a letter B or something, but even I guess um I guess their imagination really runs wild when they're learning.
Yes, for sure. I will say, at the point where we were talking about, for me, one thing I remember is the family reading time. That was a big thing in our household. It was everyone was reading something, whether my brother and I were reading books, my dad was reading the newspaper, and my mom was in the kitchen cooking, but it was quiet in the house. And then I just also remember like my dad taking us to the libraries on Saturday, and we'd go and he'd give us like 30 minutes to check out a book and then take us every two every Saturday if we wanted a new book. But if we
Mhm.
had enough books, go quite often for us to have the library for the time being at the house. So
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Mhm. So yeah, like for our audience, like we discussed, reading it's materials, it's being in the car, reading the street signs, it's the cereal boxes, it's magazines, comic books, it's, whatever that allows your child to read, the comprehension, the phonics. There are more ways to help our striving readers than just books and making it fun for them as well. So are there any questions about what we discussed, how you can support a striving reader or the New World Reading Initiative?
So while they're typing away, if they have questions, I definitely have a question. So when we say striving readers, at what age would we start to recognize or pay more attention to our kids and where they kind of are with reading?
That is a great question. So I would say around the time your student is one, if they're in like a daycare, like a facility or a school, and
Mhm.
really working and collaborating with the teacher and checking in with the teacher to see like, hey, how is my child reading? Where should they be by now with the reading? And having like that partnership of asking, where should my child be? I will say like some children start very early with their reading. So it might be hard to gauge like where that child is. So really working with their teachers and asking them, where should my child be? Or if they're at like a daycare or a VPK facility, asking them, hey, you know, where do you think at this age should my child be in their reading?
Okay.
Now I will say I do engagement. We do have amazing experts on the team, and I'm happy to get that answered by an expert for sure.
Okay, awesome.
Mhm. Any other questions?
I don't see any yet in our Q&A. We typically don't use the chat feature, so I'll just make sure.
So one question we have is, would you encourage modeled reading? And the answer is yes. So when we say modeled reading, it's you again, if we have a reading time and you're reading with your child. So if we could take you, Miss Tina, and your little one. So your little one seeing you read, seeing you, how you engage in your reading, and the fact that you're picking up something to read. And I do for myself with my godson, he's 1. And when I go and babysit, I'm reading something and I try to give him a book too. So he's following along and though I know he can't read, but he's flipping the pages,
Yeah.
he's flipping the book, but he's able to see like, okay, this is how you hold the book, and even starting young there. But modeled reading, I definitely will encourage parents to do that for your child to see how to go about reading.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it's different because I have 3 girls actually, and so the oldest is 19. And so with the 3-year-old, it's totally different. And I think I don't know if just because I'm an older parent at this age, with the younger one, it's definitely just kind of exciting to see her because when I read to her and then I'm like, okay, you read to me. And she'll have the same exact book and the way that she can read those pictures and remember what we talked about on each page. It's like, it's so amazing.
So another question was, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yep, you can go
Oh,
ahead. That's what I was.
should I encourage my child to select books that interest them, or should I provide a wide variety? I say we want to make reading fun for our child, so definitely allowing them to select books that interest them. They'll be more prone to read it, more excited to read it. Um, and you're allowing them that choice, like we talked about, having them um, have a book that interests them, that will grab their attention, get them to want to read is definitely the goal. So any book that your child may have, any interest, any topic, if they have a favorite movie and finding to see if the movie has a book to it as well, just allowing them to select those books that will really get them excited about reading, because reading's fun and we want them to know that. At times students don't think so. So giving them that choice to select their books that interest them would make it a more enjoyable experience.
So with that being said, when we go on and we want to register or sign up for the New Worlds Reading Initiative to get our kids going, do we get to choose which books that we would prefer, or are the books just sent to our kids?
That is a great question. So one of the things I love about New World is that we give choice. We have what we call book sets. So on our website, when the family is enrolling, there's a section that asks families to choose their child's book sets. There are three categories, three genres that we have, and the families are able to take a look at the book sets. And those are the books that we send to the students. So it's not just a generic shipment of like third grade books, all the third grade students across the state, but it's all based off the child's interests.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then what's the time frame for the books to come once our families sign up?
So once your family is starting up, that's a good question. And I'll actually go back to the visual. So once a family enrolls at newworldreading.com, they do have to go through the waiting period of eligibility. We do have data sharing agreement with the district, so we have to match that data. I also share with families they do not need to have their student test scores or student ID or anything. It's just literally like their basic information. And the waiting period is about 6 to 8 weeks once every eligibility is confirmed. And then, as a New Worlds Reading parent, they receive a free book every month until they graduate out of elementary school.
Awesome. So there's no recertification that needs to go on each year. They just keep rolling the books out.
Yes, ma'am. So it is a one-time sign up, and the student stays in the program until they graduate, or if a parent opts out of the program.
And then who can sign up kids? Can grandparents sign up a child to say, hey, I want to sign my grandchild up as birthday gifts that they get every single month from New Worlds Reading?
Yeah, if the grandparent is able to sign them up, we're just trying to reach as many eligible students as possible. So any adult in the child's life um, who's able to, if the child's eligible and the parent or guardian needs assistance of doing that, I say the grandparents could go full steam ahead to enroll them.
Awesome. And I think that's another thing too, because my 3-year-old comes with me to check the mail, and she absolutely loves when something comes and it has her name on it, and she knows it's her book. It's awesome. So the program that you guys have going on, I think it's super amazing, and I will continue to have you guys on and continue to make sure that our families know that you are available. And then do you have your contact information where we can put it up again? And if any of our families would like to reach out to you and the team?
Yeah, so this presentation unfortunately doesn't have it, but I can put it in the chat
Okay.
for everyone. Oh, okay. That's my email. and then the New World's main email address as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So just for parents, if your child's school is interested in having New Worlds reading come out, we offer literacy events where we can host a literacy event, provide books, activities, and meals. That's an option where it's about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and it's just us engaging in the books and the activities that go along the book. And then we also offer enrollment on site at that event. If your child's school is having an event like a science night, a reading night, we would be more than happy to come and table at your event and have flyers and materials to get your student to share with you and support in enrollment as well. And we also do these workshops in person. So if your child's school would be interested in having a workshop conducted, we come, we give the workshop meals and all of these are at no cost to the school.
So, wonderful.
Hmm.
Okay, Miss Nasika, I don't see any additional questions. So I won't hold us this evening. But I'll definitely pass on any messages or things that I get from our families to you and the team, so that way you guys can definitely answer those. And I um, always look forward to having you. It's such a great program. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You are welcome. So I'll go ahead and close us out for this evening. So I'd just like to thank everyone for joining me on tonight's Zoom. We appreciate your participation. Each week, you're available to connect with us for more informative presentations and discussions just like this one. Again, my name is Tina Folston Hayes. I'm the Parent Academy Specialist for Educational Equity and Outreach for the Alachua County Public Schools. And next week, we won't be on because that is going to be our spring break. So I hope that everyone enjoys their spring break and be safe. And we will see you back here that following Thursday. So if you have any questions or need to reach out to me, please feel free to at parentacademy.gm.sbac.edu, and I will get to those questions. Thank you so much, Miss Nasika.
Thank you, Tina. Have a great
Have a
one and
wonderful,
spring break.
thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
You too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.